List that he is going to donate $10 million to a fund for the families of the police, fire, and other emergency workers that tragically turn out to have lost their lives in this situation. The Cisco Corporation has also offered a donation of $4 million for similar purposes, and we will organize a charitable organization that can be accountable and can make sure that all of this money gets in the hands that it's intended to get to, meaning to the children and the families that turn out to be the most direct victims of this tragedy. And again, I thank GE and I thank Cisco and all the others who have come forward in their own way and helped us. Governor?
Mayor, thank you. Let me join with you in thanking Governor DeFrancisco for being here and for the extraordinary help we've gotten from New Jersey and the cooperation we've had with the Port Authority. It's been just tremendous, and we appreciate that help. And the mayor referred to us as coming out of a one-hour briefing, but it's really not a briefing. It's a work session. And it's a work session where decisions are made and steps taken to try to alleviate the suffering and do everything we can for those who might still be alive. And I want to commend the mayor for his leadership and for the leadership of his team in these meetings, because it is extraordinary how well everyone works together and how serious everyone is in putting one agenda first and foremost and exclusively, and that is the interest of the people of New York State. So, Mayor, to you and your team, you deserve enormous credit for that leadership. It's not just the leadership, it's also the individual heroes who are out there. And just this afternoon, I was at Bellevue visiting a fallen firefighter who had been hospitalized, and I went up and congratulated him, and he got this smile on his face. And he looked at me, and it was like a line out of a movie. And he said in this thick accent, "What'd you expect? I'm a New Yorker." That's the spirit that is allowing us to get through this tragedy. And it's also the heart, because right after that, he got tears in his eyes and talked about his partner in the fire department who was missing, who had 10 kids. And I told him we would stand with him, we would stand with his partner, the city, the state, the country, to make sure that their heroism was recognized and protected. We have to, in honor of them, get back to business, make sure the states and city and country runs and that people go about their lives. And to that end, tomorrow afternoon, we are going to be holding a special extraordinary joint session of the state legislature and the state capitol, where we'll be having remarks and a memorial for those who, a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives. And the legislature will be passing a bipartisan legislation condemning this terrorist act and commending the tremendous heroism of those who have responded as they have. And I want to thank Senate Majority Leader Joe Bruno and Speaker Shelley Silver for coming together in a bipartisan way to send this strong message to the people of New York and to those terrorists that we're not going to be stopped. Also, to help get back to business as usual, beginning tomorrow, our Empire State Development Corporation will be making available on the 32nd floor of our office at 633 3rd Avenue all state agencies and authorities in one place, where companies, businesses, industries that need emergency economic assistance can come and find out what assistance is available so that we can look to provide, whether it's office space or help with power or lighting, that type of support. This is an incident that was going to remain in our minds throughout our lives. But it's an incident that we can overcome, put behind us, and move forward in protecting our freedom and the future of our city, state, and country. We are going to do that. Mayor, again, thank you for your leadership.
Thank you. Thank you. Governor?
If I could, there are a couple reasons why.
Thank you very much.
I was able to why I wanted to be here was, first of all, to tell the both of you that you've exercised great leadership during this very difficult time. I express my sorrow for the many, many people that we've lost, but also our support. Really, we're here to tell you that we support you in any way possible. We don't want to be in your way, but we want to bring support ranging from the state police to the National Guard or to the volunteers and many thousands of people that want to do something to help New Yorkers who have done just a fabulous job. Your city and state workers, your fire department, your police personnel, your emergency management people, your emergency medical services people have all, based on what we've seen, done an outstanding job. We were prepared to handle many, many people who were injured, and we still are. But the New York people have just done a fabulous job in dealing with that issue, and I congratulate everybody, but I do express my tremendous sympathies on behalf of the state to all of you for the losses you've incurred. And thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for your help and
Thank you,
your
Mr.
support.
Mayor. Thank you, Governor. I just want to say on behalf of all of the council members and really the people of the city that during a terrible, terrible time of crisis, I can't think of the better leadership that we've had, probably the finest hour I've ever seen, with Mayor Giuliani and with the governor standing next to me. You know, it's during a time of crisis you know who your friends are. It's during a time of crisis you know the people that really are able to help. This is like being in a foxhole together. They've responded to the greatest horror in my life, probably all Americans' lives. Can't imagine anything worse, but I can't imagine anything finer than to see how New Yorkers have risen up to this challenge. And I guarantee everyone that New York will rise from the ashes, be much better than it ever was before, and that those responsible for this are going to realize they picked on the wrong city.
Also want to thank Congressman Nadler for joining us and for his support and for his help. And as I said, we'll be counting on him and the members of the delegation for the help and support we're going to need in the future. Thank you very much, Congressman.
Commissioner Park, can you talk a little bit about some of the incidents that have happened?
Really, I'm extremely happy. There has really not been much of anything. There was one attempted looting event last night. Someone was arrested, I understand, and there were some people that were called names or harassed. No arrests were made, and that's about it. Policing in the rest of the city is going on as normal. There's no increased activity in the boroughs. There's no other problems downtown, with the exception of getting people through the area downtown. But the mayor and I were there, I don't know, about midnight last night, or about 1 o'clock in the morning perhaps, and there was a lot of activity going on. We were back out there an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, and it's a completely different area. They removed an enormous amount of equipment out of the way. They removed an enormous amount of the debris, and the people are really getting in there now and starting to do their jobs. So everything's going as well as can be expected.
Are you able to respond in the boroughs as quickly as you would to most emergency situations now? Do you have the personnel given the numbers that are down to them at this point?
Yeah, we have adequate coverage in the boroughs. In fact, we've really it hasn't affected the borough coverage at all. We've gone to 12-hour shifts, but we haven't decreased the size of manpower in the boroughs.
Commissioner, will you be eliminating the alert that's been on the street so people can drive into Manhattan and people can drive?
Not at this time. The mayor and I will talk about that later, and it may be adjusted, but as of this time, it's going to remain the same.
Mr. Mayor, the chairman of the SEC has asked for the markets to open tomorrow. Is the city ready for the
City, I spoke to Dick Grasso earlier. The governor also spoke to Dick, and I told him that we would do everything we could to help them open, including providing police escorts, providing whatever security is necessary, and doing whatever cleanup is necessary to make sure that they can open the stock exchange tomorrow. It's really, it's going to be difficult, but I believe we can do it, and I believe it would be a good thing to do it, a really good thing to do it.
Is there electricity and telephone service? Do you
There is electricity and there is telephone service.
downtown now?
No, for the stock exchange.
Oh, I see.
The stock exchange has its own source, so there would be enough power for them to operate, and there's also telephone service to the stock exchange. The major issue is access, getting people there, since however we open things up, that area is still going to be an area tomorrow in which we're going to be doing a lot of relief work. So we're working out a plan with them to try to provide access for their people so they can get a sufficient number of people to open. And we're hopeful it can be done.
How about the many city agencies that have their headquarters down there, from the Housing Authority, hospitals and healthcare, sanitation, transportation, HRA?
We're setting up temporary facilities for them. DCAS has found one large office area in Lower Manhattan, but out of that site. And then we have temporary trailers in which some of them are operating that we use sometimes in emergencies. So they should be all, if not fully operational, pretty close to fully operational tomorrow.
Could you talk about the cleanup, where the debris is being taken, and is it being kept because it's part of the project?
The debris is being taken to Fresh Kills, where under the supervision of the police and the FBI, we'll separate debris that's pure debris from items that are evidence of a crime that the FBI and the police will need. And in addition, I should emphasize that there's very special focus on trying to find the black boxes, the four of them, the 2 instrument and the 2 voice boxes that could tell us so much about what happened.
Quite a bit of civic pride coming out in the leaders there, Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Governor George Pataki in New York, as we have seen so many times in these briefings thus far, and taking pride in the city of New York. A bit of news coming out of there. 1 case of looting thus far, some verbal harassment. Other than that, it appears throughout the various boroughs of New York City, things are quite normal. And again, as we have reported throughout the day, the stock exchange on schedule to reopen tomorrow with trading, full electricity and telephones available there.
All right, we also want to bring our viewers up to date on late information we're getting from Brussels, Belgium. Just in the last 5-6 minutes, we got a report from Brussels, from the Associated Press, and NATO leadership issuing a statement that any attack on the United States can be considered an attack on the entire alliance, the entire NATO alliance. Further reporting from the Associated Press, quoting the NATO Secretary General Lord Robertson as saying the United States got the backing for any military action from its 18 NATO partners if it is determined that Tuesday's attacks came from others in other countries. I want to turn now to the Pentagon. Secretary Rumsfeld is speaking there.
2 or 3 points. First, we currently believe and are certainly hopeful that the number of casualties being reported in the press is high. As you know from your own observation out there, the work is still going forward, and we won't know for some time precise numbers, but from everything that we currently know, the estimate that's been widely reported is considerably high, and we certainly pray that that's the case. Second, I do want to again express our sympathy to the families and friends and colleagues of all those who have been harmed by this attack on our country. Also, we're, needless to say, deeply grateful to the many units from all over this area that are out there and have been out there for more than 24 hours. Firemen, ambulances, and different teams and squads of individuals who are doing a very professional job for our country. We are, in a sense, seeing the definition of a new battlefield in the world, a 21st century battlefield, and it is a different kind of conflict. It is something that is not unique to this century, to be sure, but it is, given our geography and given our circumstance, it is in a major sense new for this country. Finally, I'd like to say a word or two to the men and women in the defense establishment, most of whom deal with classified information. Since the end of the Cold War, there's been a relaxation of tension, and it's had a lot of effects. It's led to proliferation. It's led to the movement towards asymmetrical threats as opposed to more conventional threats. One of the other effects has been it has had an effect on how people handle classified information. And it seems to me that it's important to underline that when people